Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by green fields, there lived a woman named Suad who sold bread to support her three daughters, Layla, Salma, and Nada. Suad was a hardworking woman who woke up every morning before the sun rose to bake bread with her tired, cracked hands. Even though her family had little money, they were known for their generosity and readiness to help others. One day, while Suad was selling bread in front of her modest home, an old woman wearing a torn dress and carrying a wooden stick approached her. The signs of poverty and hunger were visible on her face. She said in a frail voice, "My dear, could you spare a piece of bread? I haven't tasted food for 2 days." Suad felt immediate sympathy and gave her a loaf of bread without asking for money. From that day on, the old woman visited daily to take her bread. Layla was the first to answer her call, offering the loaf with a broad smile and inviting her to rest a while. Salma would add some dates or milk alongside the bread, and Nada would bring her cold water on hot days. The old woman observed every detail of their lives, how Suad raised her daughters with modesty and diligence, and how they treated people with love and kindness despite their simple life. The old woman was not poor as they believed, but a wealthy woman. She lived in the city, seeking a kind-hearted girl for her only son. One day, she asked Layla, "Why do you give me bread every day without asking? Aren't you afraid it will take food away from your family?" Layla replied, "Mother taught us that giving increases goodness." The old woman was touched by her words, but said nothing. She began to ask the girls about their dreams. Layla said she dreamed of learning tailoring. Salma wanted to become a teacher, and Nada wished to be a doctor who treats patients for free. The old woman returned home and told her son what she had seen and heard. She decided to visit the village again in more humble clothes, looking extremely weary. She knocked on Suad's door, saying in a shaking voice, "My dear, I need a place to rest for a while." Suad welcomed her kindly and invited her into their small home, giving her a place on the only bed in the room and serve her a bowl of hot soup. Over the following days, the old woman continued to observe the family and test their pure hearts in various ways. She asked Layla to help her carry firewood, which she did without hesitation despite its heaviness. She asked Salma to mend a torn dress, and Salma worked hard until it looked brand new. The old woman deliberately dropped a jug of water in front of Nada. Instead of getting angry, Nada hurried to collect the shards and brought a new glass of water, saying, "No worries, what's important is that you're all right." On a cold night, the old woman knocked on the door and told them she had no blanket. Without hesitation, Suad gave her the only blanket she had, and the family slept on the mat. The old woman's eyes filled with tears, and she said to Suad, "How can you give me the only thing that keeps you warm?" Suad replied with a smile, "Perhaps this blanket will save you from the cold." After these tests, the old woman was convinced that this family possessed pure hearts worthy of being part of her life. She returned home and told her son Kareem everything, and then asked him to visit the family himself to test them. Kareem agreed and dressed in simple clothes, going to Suad's house disguised as a poor worker in search of a job. When he knocked on the door, Suad opened it with her usual smile and asked kindly, "What is it, my dear?" He replied in a soft voice, "I'm a stranger in this village." Suad immediately invited him into the house and offered him food. Layla hurried to prepare a bowl of soup and bread. Salma arranged warm water for him to wash his hands, and Nada served him a cup of milk with a shy smile. Over the days, Kareem tested the girls in various ways. He asked Layla to mend his clothes, which she did skillfully, returning them to him with a smile. He asked Salma to teach him to read, and she eagerly taught him like a younger brother. As for Nada, Kareem deliberately broke a glass in front of her, and she did not get angry.